Okay. Now, once you're in Schoology, you're going to log in, you have a landing page. And your landing page can be one of two things. It's either going to be your recent activity, okay? It can be your recent activity, or it can be your course dashboard. So look and see what your landing page happens to be. It's set usually by default at the district, but you can go in and change it at any time. So if you land on your recent activity page, that's going to be like your stream. Like if you have Google Classroom, that would be comparable to your stream, or it's sort of like a social media feed. So all of your classroom updates, announcements, and group updates are going to appear here on this recent activity feed. And when you log in, if your landing page happens to be your course dashboard, then what you'll see is all of your courses that you are either a member of or that you actually happen to teach. So you're going to have those two different views. If you want to get to your landing page, no matter where you are in the system, you'll click right up here in the upper left-hand corner, and it may be where you see your school branding. So if you click here on your school branding, or if you click on the word Schoology, that's going to take you to that default landing page, which is either going to be, again, your recent activity or your course dashboard. And very simply, you can go through each part and each piece at any time, just by clicking here. Now also, when you log in, and also for your students as well, you are met with a column over here on the right. Okay. On this right-hand side, if you are a student and you have overdue materials, you're going to know about those because you'll get just a little subtle overdue materials notice. And not only can the student see that, so can mom and dad if they've gone in as well. And then you can see any upcoming activities or upcoming assignments or even upcoming calendar events here. So you've got all of this information here, and we can see I've got some work that's due for my class. And in Schoology, you want to hover and discover. So when you hover, you're going to be able to see what class it is that the material was overdue from. From the teacher standpoint, let me see. When you see my name here, that's me, the teacher. When I go into my landing page, I have it set to the course dashboard. But as the teacher, I'm going to see a reminders area. And in that reminders area, that's going to be telling me the things that I've forgotten to grade, or it's going to give me a reminder of the things that I need to go in and grade. So that's one area there that the teachers will have that you as a student will not have, but teachers will have that. So let's go ahead and jump in and let's get into our course. So this is the course that I'm going to have you join, okay? This is our Introduction to TEA course, and you will have this course available to you for a while, so you can use it as a reference. So let's have you join it, and here's what you need to do to join that course. So just go ahead and follow along with me there to join the course. You're going to go in up at the top menu, and you're going to click on the word Courses. So click on that word Courses. And then you're going to scroll over here to the right, and you're going to click on the word My Courses. And then you're going to have two little buttons right here under Manage Courses, where you're going to want to click on the button that says Join a Course. And then you'll have this little box pop up. It's got an access code here, and I'm going to give you the magic number. So I'm going to go over here to My Course, and I'm going to give you this magic number, which will allow you to join our course today. And I'm going to make it really big on the screen for you so you can see it. And there it is. So you just type in that course code, and it's not case sensitive. You don't have to even have the hyphens, really. I'll go ahead and put it in the chat as well. Now, if you copy it and paste it from the chat and you get a message that says invalid, then you probably copied over too many spaces. So you may need to just type it in. But again, it's not case sensitive. You don't even need the hyphens. You can just go ahead and add in that information. Give you just a second to join that course. Now, again, this is inside the chat, if you'd rather copy and paste it over. Okay, so let's see who's joined that course. I'll join it too as Angela Lerner. So I've got two people happening today. I have Angela Lerner, who happens to be my fake persona, my fake teacher. And then I've got me as Angie Bakke, who is the real teacher. So Angela Lerner is kind of like my sample person. So once you get in and you've joined that, go ahead and open up your course. And you should see a page that looks similar to this. Now, one of the first questions that I always get asked happens to be, okay, what do my students see? I need to know what my students see. And I just want you to just for a second to take a look. Angela Lerner's my fake student. And you can see, and you've got your page as well. Kind of look over here to the left, this column, and see what you see there. I'm going to give us a nice pretty mouse here. So we've got the nice little column here. And notice right across the top here, it's nice and clean. You've got the ability to, you know, navigate your way through the course. And then we've got our upcoming. So what do we see as the teacher then? And you'll like this because it's very similar. So now I'm in my teacher mode. And do you see that? It's not a lot of difference, is it? Student, teacher. That's what I love about it. So what you need to know, as the teacher, you're going to have more options here. You're going to have options here. And you're going to have that gear icon. And that's going to allow you to edit. So that's the main difference that you see between the teachers and the students. So this is your course. And right now, I want you to put on that student hat. Okay, you're going to put on your student hat for a minute. And you're going to look at this course much like a student would. And I want you to think about the group of students that you'll be working with or the group of students that your teachers will be working with. And I want you to go through and check this course out. Not be afraid to, you know, point, click, open things up, and just look around and get the feel for it. Notice the folder structure. Notice that there are links involved. And notice that you can open up a folder and you can click on the various items. Notice that you've got clickable images that takes you inside the folder. And you can also navigate your way through the folder through the course actually by clicking this next button. So you've got those options. Now maybe you just work with elementary kids only or elementary teachers. Put on that second hat, that hat of, you know, conceptual thinking. Oh wow, you've got some clickable images. That would be great for our lower elementary groups. Also, as you go through, check out some of the assignment examples that I have for you. So I'm going to give you time to go in and kind of play for a few minutes. But I have two things you have to do. I've got a couple of assignments for you right over here. I want you to go in and complete the introduction. Introduce yourself. You get a little bit there in the chat at the beginning. And then I also want you to go in and take and complete this assignment. And maybe complete it like what you think your students or maybe your teachers would, how they would complete it. I'm not going to give you a whole lot of explanation right here on this right now because I want you just to experience it straight up. And then as you're working, I may call your attention back to my screen, the teacher screen, because some interesting things happen when we're working in a synchronous environment. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put some time on the clock. I'm going to give you about, I don't know, 6-7 minutes or so to go through and, kind of play in the course, check it out, complete those 2 assignments, see what you can find, and so forth. And then what I want you to do as well, and I will just move this parking lot of questions up to the top. We have this parking lot of questions. And with the amount of people we have in our group today and so forth, I may not pay attention like I should probably to that chat. And so what I want you to do is if you have a question, to go ahead and put those questions right there in this question parking lot. And if you hit the refresh button, you will see that that parking lot of questions is now right up there at the top of your convenience. And don't forget about what I showed you earlier about the informational type content and about the interactive type comment and see what you find. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let you get started. I'll be quiet. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question. And I'm still here. I'm just gonna take myself off camera. Now, just as a reminder, you do have a couple of assignments there that I'm going to want you to complete. Make sure you go over and check out those assignments and see what those are like. right, Ruben Pena is going to be our first student that's going to get a badge. Congratulations, Ruben. He's gone above and beyond. Actually added a picture to his post. So I'm going to give you a badge, Ruben. Congratulations. Ruben's going to get a badge. Congratulations. I'm going to give you the leadership award because you took it upon yourself to be a leader and be the first one to go above and beyond. So congratulations, Ruben. You just got a badge for being a leader today. All right, we've got about 2 minutes left, so this is kind of like your 2-minute warning. So if you haven't yet had a chance to go and check out that assignment over here, try that out. Check it out. You don't have to do the complete assignment. You could just type in your ABCs if you wanted to. You don't have to go through and do everything, but I would like for you to experience it so you'll see what your students will experience and what your teachers will be able to experience as it's being graded. So far, no submissions. So see, as a teacher, I can see I don't have any submissions just yet. So if I get at least a couple of you to submit so you can see what I see as a teacher. There we go. Thank you. So see, look what happens as the teacher now. I have a reminder that I've got some ungraded assignment submissions. Now, our introduction piece was not a graded piece. So I'm going to go ahead and take it over there and just kind of look around while you're working. Got about a little bit of a minute and a half or so to go. So if you haven't had a chance yet, do experience that assignment. We got somebody from San Diego, Texas. I do not know where San Diego, Texas is. I'm going to have to look that up. Find out what the closest big city is. I'd like to know that. You know what, Amanda? I'm going to go ahead and give you a badge too, because you just, and Diana, let me give you 2 badges as well. Y'all have done a good job really gone through and answered those questions. So I'll be awarding some badges. All right, you've had a chance to go through and kind of check out Schoology and just kind of see what a course looks like from that student perspective. And then you actually have the opportunity to go in and do a little creating and a little interacting, just like students would. So as you've gone through, I can see here I've got a question in the parking lot, and I can actually go to that parking lot and see what the question is. And there's not a text-to-speech tool answering this question inside Schoology. However, there are plenty of extensions via Chrome browser extensions that you can use. And then when you create assignments and so forth, I'll show you how you can add that audio to that. All right, so let's take a look now, and let's look at it from the teacher's perspective and the student perspective. So as the teacher now, so I'm putting on my teacher hat. Wish I had a hat. I could just put the hats on and take the hats off. So this is my teacher hat right now that I've got on. I can see I've got 10 ungraded assignment submissions, and then I had you do the introduction, which was a non-graded introduction. But let me show you some things that you have inside. Now, I made some decisions not to moderate these posts and to allow you just to post because I do trust you. However, as that teacher, I do have the ability to go in at any time and click, and I could actually edit your post. And there have been some times when there have been some typos, in a word that kind of turned the word into something else. And so I've been able to go in and kind of edit that discussion. And I can also delete it. But I also have the ability, should I have chosen to go in and actually moderate those posts. So I'm going to go ahead and click on moderate post right now. And when I go in and choose to moderate the post, I just enable the moderation. And I'll show you what that looks like here in just a moment when my fake student Angela Lerner goes and completes that discussion question. So all grades, K through 12, pre-K through 12, can actually work with those discussion pieces. So when I go in to look at the discussion area, you can go in and edit it. I can make it graded if I wanted to. But I love this little piece right here where I can go in and highlight the user, and I can see the interactions that everyone had with each other. And I can also see who did not submit. So you see Angela Lerner has not submitted yet. So, and that's my fake person, remember. So I can see your interactions if you had replied right here. And I can also highlight a user. And so I can highlight Susan, and that would go directly to Susan's post. Now my sandbox is kind of not working as well today, but there we go. But you can notice you could have replied to others, and we're finding out a little bit about the people that we work with in our great state. All right, now what does that look like from the perspective of the student? Let me show you a couple little extras that maybe you didn't see. So this is Angela Lerner, my student, and she's going to go and answer this. And remember, we have moderation on right now for her. So when Angela Lerner comes in and is ready, we click to activate it. And anytime you add content inside Schoology, you're going to get the little content box. Either you will, your students will, no matter who is adding content, you're going to get a content box. And in this content box, you will see that you've got the ability to insert links. Or if you hover and discover, look, you can insert a file and links, things from that resource file cabinet that I told you about. But look at this piece right here. You can add an audio or video recording as well. So if I'm working with my little ones, or even if I'm, working with our older ones and we want to listen to them read a passage, or we want them to respond with audio or video, you simply click the audio or video recording and you can go in and actually record. So I'm going to go ahead and just record a video, kind of show you what that looks like, and I'll add an audio as well. So here's what's going to happen. We'll click that. There it comes in. And I can just simply start my recording. And hi, everybody. I'm Angela Lerner, your fake student. Now, what it's going to do, and this is what you need to understand, that no matter what, it's going to find the most unflattering thumbnail. You have no option. And everything I've tried it all to get that thumbnail to not look goofy. It does it on purpose. I swear it does. But we don't worry about that because it doesn't affect content, right? So I can add in my recording. But notice how right here, my post, I can't post it. So if you're working with your littles and you want them to actually add their audio recording, then you do have to go in and you have to type at least something inside the box. So I just tell the little ones just to type the letter of their first name, and then you've got the ability to post it. And the same rules apply if I wanted to post an audio recording. I'll have to type something in, just like the letter of my name. And then to do an audio recording, it's just the same. You start the recording. And hey, all you Texas fans, this is Angela Lerner, a fake student, here with you today. And then you just click and upload. So it's that simple to insert those recordings. Just remember, you've got to go in and you've got to post. So what does that look like on my part as the teacher? Well, let's switch it over now, putting that teacher hat back on. And I can go and see what Angela Lerner has loaded. And because I'm doing this live right now, oops, I just saw somebody else going to get a badge. Yes, you are. Because I'm doing it live, I'll have to come in and hit refresh, and then we'll see Angela Lerner's information. All right, it's saying it didn't come over. Come on, Angela, I know you submitted it, didn't you? Oh, well, wait a minute. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, that's why. Because I have to moderate it first. So do you see how your post is pending moderation? So when you put on that teacher hat, okay, you put on that teacher hat, you will get a notification right here that says, hey, I've got 4 posts that require moderation. So should you choose to moderate, I can click the word moderate and go and do it immediately, or I'll come back to it later. If I want to come back to it later, I'll find the ability to moderate right here under moderate posts. And now I can go in and I can see the parts and pieces here, and I can actually go in and approve those different posts. And some of those I think that they are going to probably go into our question bank, which is fine. I'm going to go ahead and approve that. And then we'll see what it all looks like here in just a moment. Now, because we're all grown-ups here, I'm going to go ahead and disable that moderation for the rest of our course because I don't want to have to keep moderating all of your posts, and I want you to feel free to post at any time. So that's kind of what a discussion looks like. You've kind of seen all the parts and pieces there in that discussion piece. So questions about discussions from the student perspective. In a little bit, we're going to turn you around and let you start creating those inside your course that you're going to work in. Any questions on discussions? If not, then you can always come in and add those to our parking lot as well. All right, let's take a look now at our ungraded pizza versus tacos. Now, I get to work with people all over the United States, and they're always choosing pizza in New York, in Chicago. Now, out there in California, they'll choose tacos. Well, let's see what we have with us, all of us Texans. We better be choosing tacos, is all I can say. But let's look here. So when I'm going and I'm ready to grade, now keep in mind, this is for you, the adult learner, or the older kids. But if you had a smaller group of students, you could come in and you could actually give them more direction on what they need to do to complete the assignment. So as a teacher, I can see who all is submitted. I can download those submissions, and I can see if any were turned in late or if they were not submitted at all. So I can see the 10 people who did not submit. Well, we already know that Angela Lerner is one of those. So let's switch hats again. Let's go on and put on my student hat now. And I want to show you the ways that students can submit assignments via a generic assignment. So as a student, I can go in and I've got some options on how to submit the assignment. Now, as long as this assignment is open, it's not due until Thursday at 12:59 a.m. It's an odd time, but there we go. I can submit and resubmit as many times as I want. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the process so you can see what your students can do. And if you're a district leader, you may want to have a course for your teachers. Like if you're going to give in professional development and you're going to create that as a course because you need that accountability. These are things that you can have your teachers do as well. For lesson plans, for example, if you created a lesson plan course, they could submit their lesson plans here. So the first things first, your students can have the opportunity to go in and they can upload a file. And that's a pretty easy thing to do. They just go to their computer and they can upload any file at all. And I'll just upload this file right here. And the comment piece is simply a comment about the assignment. It's not the actual creation of the assignment. But I'll just put in here that this was a file upload, so we'll remember what that was. So that's the first way that the students can work. They can just upload a file from their device. Now, as long as that assignment's open, we can resubmit it as many times as we want. So the next thing that students can do is they can go in and they can add an audio or video recording. And you've already seen how that works. So you can add an audio or video recording to the assignment as a student. And this is where your little ones would love to do that. If you're working with ELL students, the audio piece is really fantastic for them. You can also go in and you can create from within. And usually, especially for our older kids, this is probably the preferred method. So when you're going in and you're creating and you're adding that content, once again, look what's popping up, this wonderful content block. So as that student, I can go in and I can write, tacos for the win. And just so we know, this is created from within the assignment. And inside here, you have lots of different options. So as that student, I can insert content from my OneDrive. I can insert content from my Google Drive. Okay, so your students can access their Google Drive or their OneDrive, and they can bring in any kind of content at all that's inside there. I don't know what that is, but we'll just go ahead and add it. And they can import it as a link, or they can even embed it inside the assignment. I can go in as a student and I can insert an image or a picture, even a YouTube video. So I'm just hoping that's a picture of a taco. I don't know if it is or not. So now we can kind of see what that looks like. And so that's another way that our students can submit those assignments. So Angela Learner now has submitted 2 assignments. Okay, let's go back, put our teacher hat on, look what we see here. So as we go in and we see, I can grade all these assignments. And I can grade these assignments in 2 ways. I can use that Schoology gradebook, and I can grade from within the gradebook. But I prefer to go ahead and grade it from here, and I'll show you both ways. Because here I can go in and now I can see very easily all of my students and what they answered, and I get a time right here. And look at Miss Brock, she actually attached a document. So now she attached her Microsoft document. Look at that. So she probably needs a badge too. So now here she goes, tacos for the win. She's giving me a picture of tacos. She went above and beyond on this. But as a teacher, look at the options that I have. I have the ability, when a student submits his or her assignment here, I have the ability to go in and I can annotate over it. Okay. So if I wanted to do an annotation, I could. I can add a note. I can change the style of this as well. Let's make it bigger. Make it red, and let's make it really big. There. Okay. I can add a note to this assignment if I want to. So here's a note. And I can even highlight the text. So if she, had worked here, you can highlight that text. And then I could, go ahead and put in that information regarding the text that I've highlighted and add the notes with it. So I've got that information. If I comment here, that's just a comment to my student. But right here is where I can actually grade it. And if I give her a 100, I can put a grade comment in here. I can just say, nice work. And I want the student to see that comment. So I'm going to show it to the student. Now, there are times when you may not want to use that, and you may not want to show anything to the student. You can choose not to show your comments to the students. So there you go. All right, so there we go. Let's look over here now at Angela Learner. So hang with me just a minute. I've got a few more things I've got to show you so you can start working with it. And this is going to answer a question that I have in the chat as far as resubmitting. So here, Angela Learner has resubmitted now. She had 2 times, 2 submissions. Let's first look at her first revision and then the second. And then I can grade the one that I choose. And it's up to you if you tell the students if you submit 1 versus 2. So this is my first revision, okay, revision 1. And when I want to look at the second one, there's revision 2. So she had submitted 2 times. And remember, this was our file upload. So when that file comes in, here's the picture that she uploaded. And again, it's coming inside here just for me where I can go in and I still have the same options. That's Angela Learner's revision 1. I've got a time and a date stamp. If I want to see her second revision, this is the one where we created it from within. I think I said, I hope this is a taco. I don't think it was a taco. I'm not sure what it was. It may not even come in. I don't think I had the share settings right either. But we'll find out. So here we go. It's not a picture of a puzzle piece. But here we go. This is where Angela Learners come in, creating it from within and adding that picture from within. So that's what that looks like, still having the same parts and pieces. So if I chose that I wanted to grade this piece for Angela Learner, I could go in and, give her a 100 or whatever grade I want her to have. And I can maybe make a notation that she was disciplined issue today or sleeping in class for this assignment. And I don't want her to see that comment, so I can click submit. So now there she's graded. So that's easy enough. to grade that way. And I love the fact that I can see everybody's assignments and can pick and choose who I want to grade right here. Now, if I want to grade from the grade book, and this is going on the assumption your grade book's already set up, I can do that as well. So let's take a look at this grade book. Now, hang with me for just a minute more, okay? I've got a couple more things to show you. I promise we won't be doing a sit and get the entire time. I'm going to put you in your course in just a moment, but there's some things I've got to show you. Consider it's kind of like driving a car. You know, when I first learned how to drive a car, my father made me walk around the entire car before I could even get in and drive it. And I was glad of it. So you're going to see and know what everything is. So you're going to know where to put that key in and start driving. All right, so automatically you can see here that the two students I had graded. And notice there's Mrs. Brock's comment. I get this little comment icon that pops up. And I can, oh, what did I say? Oh, yeah, I told her nice work. And if I look at Angela Lerner's assignment, oh, why did Angela make a 95 when everyone else made a 100? Well, I can look right there and see that comment. She was sleeping in class on 9/8. And notice I didn't want to display that to the student. Okay, I did not. If I choose to display it to the student, then the student will see that comment. So I'm going to go ahead and let her see it now. I'll change my mind. Also, as I look, I can get a quick glance, and those people that are empty spaces, did not turn in the assignment. And from that gradebook area, I can actually go in and mark those exceptions. So if I knew that this student, this was excused, and if I knew that this one is missing, it's going to come in as a 0. If this one were incomplete, I can come in and mark those as missing or incomplete. In all of these grades that I put in, okay, if I give everybody a grade, all of those grades are going to come on over into our grade book. And if I feel generous, which I do, I'll go ahead and set all the grades. I'll give everybody a 100 for now, so you can see your grade book. And now everyone gets that 100, and it overwrote those comments that I had. So whether you turned it in or not, I'm giving you our 100 today, so you can see your grade book. So now that's what that looks like from the teacher side. And if I need to go back and say, wait a minute, I need to look at Angela Lerner's again. Let me give her this comment. All right, still there for her. If I need to go and regrade her, I can regrade it. If I need to look at it again, I can go and view her submission just by clicking here, and that takes me directly to Angela Lerner's submission. So the gradebook's very powerful. So all those grades are going to transfer over into PowerSchool, into Canvas, from PowerSchool, into Skyward, into Infinite Campus, whatever it is that your LMS happens to be for your school. Okay. And you can choose which one you want to grade. All right. So I've given you a lot of information to take in. I've shown you a whole lot. Take a deep breath, inhale, exhale, and let's digest what all you've seen, and let's answer a couple of questions for you. So let me go ahead and take it over to that parking lot, and you feel free to, at any time, unmute yourself, ask a question as well. So the text-to-speech tool, I've gone ahead and I have, I'll show you that here in just a little bit. You can save the information in a draft when you were in that assignment. You can submit as a draft when you're creating from within. So you do have the ability to submit that as a draft. You can track the amount of time that students spend on Schoology. You're going to find that under the analytics piece. And if we have time to get to that, I'll show you where that is. So I will come back to that. So remind me, Ashley, as we get to that point, into that another section of our training today, remind me about that. So feel free to unmute yourself later and remind me, and I'll show you where that is. Now, the assessment piece, I don't necessarily know that it's replacing Eduphoria. Eduphoria has more to do with, performance on, the TEKS and that sort of thing. The assessment piece is not a replacement for Eduphoria. Now, there is an assessment piece called Performance Matters that is coming soon that will be a wonderful replacement for Eduphoria, but as it stands right now, it is not a replacement just yet. And I believe you've got 10 minutes or so for the audio-video portion. to be submitted, about 10 minutes, and you wouldn't want to have more than that. And the student, can they delete their first revision? You know what? I have never had that question. I don't know. I don't think so. If I'm in as the student, I don't think that they can delete that first revision. I'm in here as the student right now. Let me make sure I'm in as the student. I don't think I am. Hang on, let me look. Yeah, I'm in as the student. No, I don't think so. They can't delete that first one. So they can resubmit as long as it's open. So no, the students cannot delete that. Okay. So any questions on what you've seen so far? You feeling pretty good about it? You kind of got to experience everything as that teacher and as that student. You kind of seen a lot so far. So any questions before we move on to the next piece? Feeling pretty good? Go to that participant window. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs sideways, and let me just kind of see where we are out there in the scheme of things. In your participant window, you've got those. There we go. I see a thumbs up from Stephanie. Thank you. Okay. Pacing's okay? Speed up, slow down, we're good? All right. Well, then now let's take it to the next level. Let's go ahead now and let's start creating on our own. Okay. We'll take a break here in about another 15, 20 minutes or so. We'll take a break. So let's go ahead and start creating on our own now. So we're going to go ahead and hopefully if you've taken that self-paced course, that's great. If you haven't, not a problem. But if you've taken that self-paced course, you may already have a sandbox created for yourself. And if you haven't, we're going to go ahead and walk you through creating a sandbox course. And what that means is you're going to create a place to play. You can learn how to create all of these things that you've seen right here inside our course. Now, one of the things I want to point out to you about our course, especially if you're going to be training others, you have access to this course. You have access to our agenda. And if you click here in our course on our agenda, you're going to see that when you've left me and you've forgotten all this, because right now we're in the quagmire of trying to start school, and some of us are remote, some of us are blended. It's kind of crazy town, and we're all the mayor. You do have the opportunity to come in, and I've got hyperlinks back to all those parts and pieces. So you've got hyperlinks within your agenda right there from your course. So you do have those hyperlinks right there that will take you to the different areas. So we're going to go ahead. We've had, as we look at that agenda, we've had our course overview. I've talked to you about the courses and groups and resources just a little bit. So we know about that. We'll get to experience that just a little bit more as we round up. You've had the opportunity to go in and see that course, and you've been able to see all the different parts and pieces of the course, and you've been able to actually experience as a student the different discussions and the different assignments. And then I've shown you how you can go in and you can score the work. Well, now it's time for us to actually get in there and let's start creating some things and see what that's like right now. So let's go ahead and let's get us a sandbox course created, and that will be a place for us to play. So here's how we're going to do that, and I'll just walk you through it. If you've already got a sandbox course, that's great. I already have one created. You see, it's just called Sandbox for Training. So I'm going to walk you through how you need to create yours as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to go right up here to the word courses, and you're going to click on the word courses, and you're going to go over to My Courses. And just like this morning, remember how we joined a course? Well, we're going to actually create a course right now. So you're going to create a course. So in case you missed it, we're going to go to Courses and go over here to My Courses and click on Create a Course. And you're going to open up with a window that looks something similar to what you're seeing here. And what you'll do is any of these areas right here that have the asterisks, you do have to fill those in. So since it's just a place for you to play, we'll call it Play Place. It doesn't matter. Okay. whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. Because you will not have students associated with it. You will not have grades necessarily associated with this. And this is also something your teachers will never have to do unless they want to create their own little, play place. Your section can be anything, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter because we don't have students. It's just a place for you to play. And the beauty of this is you can create things within your little playhouse, so your little area, and you will be able to save those things to your resources and filter those out to your regular courses as well. I'll show you how to do that. Subject area doesn't matter because nothing's associated with it. Our level doesn't matter because nothing's associated with it. What does matter, however, is that you pick a grading period that is active. So if you choose a grading period that is not active, you won't be able to do anything in your sandbox. So some districts have it set up to where like they had a sandbox training area, gradebook area. You just have to look to see. We're all from different districts here. So you'll just need to look to see which one you can choose. And once you have that chosen, that active grading period, click on create, and you will be able to create your sandbox. And then when you want to open it, it should appear here in your list, or you can go in and click on courses, and it should be right here for you under courses. And you will have a little crown on yours. So when I go to my courses, and I have a bunch of them, see the little crown? I've got my little crown right here. So there's my little crown right there. So go ahead and open up your sandbox, and we'll get to creating some things. Oh, I already have some things in there. Yeah. All right, that's all right. Awesome. Okay. I already have some things built in my sandbox. All right, go ahead and give you a chance to build that sandbox. Let me go ahead and do another one just to get a blank one. I thought that one was blank. It's not. Let me just do that real quick. So if you missed it, you got another chance here to see. And let me just call this the TEA sandbox. See how easy this is to create. Just got to give it that grading period that's going to work. And now it opens up, and I have, there we go. I've got a nice blank one for you that you can see. Okay. Now let's talk about a few things again. And you're like, oh no, more talking, please. But I've got to show you some things. So let's take a look around our course, and let's take a look at some other parts and pieces up here at the top as well. So first, my question to you is, how much email are you going to want to receive? Now, you do want to go back and take that self-paced course because a lot of the information is going to come to you for that. That's going to provide you with a lot of details. But if you do not want to receive a lot of emails, okay, some of you love emails, and if you don't want to receive emails, you can go here under your name and go to your settings, and under your name and under settings, there's this tab called notifications. So if you start receiving email after email after email about things happening in your course, you can go in and you can turn off all of those notifications except for the personal notifications. You have to manually set those. And then if you're really crazy, like I am, you can actually connect your phone to receive text notifications on those updates. So the updates fall into academic course, basically your courses, any group updates, any public group updates, any school updates, and then personal updates. When you receive a text message or you receive the email, it simply says, hey, there's been an update in your Schoology Contract Trainers group. I have to physically go to there to read it. Does it tell me what it is? But it is a nice little reminder. And I only have my updates on just for a couple of things. So if you don't want to receive all that email, you can turn all of those off. So I did want to point out this area to you so you can see where that is. And, you know, once again, when you start receiving all these different emails, how do I get those off? It's under your settings and under your notifications area. So if you just don't want any of them, you can turn those off, and you can always come back and turn them on, or leave them all on, and then when you start getting all those emails, come back here and turn them off. That's how I figured out what I wanted to receive and what I didn't. Understand as well, though, you will always receive your notifications right here. Okay, so I can see that here you all replied. Do I need an email about that? No. Okay. I can see where people have gone in and, yeah, they've posted things, okay, where you've submitted. So again, I don't necessarily need an email about that. I've been getting all these emails because I'll get those notifications here anyway. Okay. Now, let's take it over to account settings real quick. This is where you can do a personalized setting for yourself. So if you scroll, do your Schoology scroll right here. If you want to have your Schoology calendar, because anytime you create an assignment or anything with a date attached to it, it's going to go on that calendar automatically. It's going to go in your gradebook automatically. You don't have to, you know, you create it in one place, it's going to go all the others. So you don't have to recreate the wheel. But if you want your Schoology calendar to integrate with Outlook or integrate with Google or something like that, you can go in and get that iCal link, and then based on whatever calendaring system that you use, you can add that additional calendar here. And if you, let's say, have students, you have, or children, and they have Schoology, and perhaps maybe you've used Schoology in the past under a different account, and now your school has gotten Schoology for you, but it's under another account name, you can go here and you can link your accounts and link your two Schoology accounts together and easily switch back and forth between those. Or you can actually merge those. If you've got a duplicate account, you can merge it. So it's going to delete your old account, like the maybes from your personal email, and merge it into your new one. And then finally right here, you scroll on down, do that Schoology scroll. Remember we talked about landing pages at the beginning? Well, you can choose that landing page for you as either recent activity or that course dashboard. So you have the ability to work with that as well. And once you've done that, you can just save those changes and then you'll be good to go. So you can set that up for yourself as well. So let me get back to my TEA sandbox that I created. It's going to be down here at the bottom, because I got a lot of stuff. Let me just go ahead and bring her on up here, okay? Bring it on up to the top. Now, that's another good thing. None of you, I promise, none of you are going to have the massive amounts of courses that I have, because I do training a lot. I've got well over 100 courses, I think, in here. I don't even know how many, actually. But you won't have that many. But if you've got a few, you can reorder those very simply in the order that you wish them to appear. So you're getting to see all the courses. So I'll just put that right there so it's easy access. And notice my crown. I'm the course leader of that. All right, let's do a little bit of housekeeping really quickly. So as we go in and we've got our course created, you can go in and you can personalize that course. So if you click right here under Edit Picture, you can go in and you can actually attach a file from Schoology, or you can even go in and attach your own file to give that course a little something something. And, you know, I've created mine. I've got some things that I've created out there in Google Land. I went out there and created this header, my sample class header, and just bring that right in. And now I've got this sample class header. It kind of makes my class stand out. So you can create that inside. Now, as you go in and you've got your course created, you've created it already, as teachers, those courses are going to be created for you already. As a teacher, you're never going to have to create a course. But if you've got a sandbox course, this is why we're creating this. It's kind of a little fun place to work with. So when you actually have your real courses created over here on this notifications piece, you want to receive email from your course. So maybe we've turned them all off up here under our settings, but this course I really need to receive some email from. This is where you can go in and you can set email notification settings for this specific course versus those global settings here under your name. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of housekeeping as we get started. Let's take it right over here into the gradebook setup. Now we're going to go ahead and just set up a pretend gradebook today inside our play course. Some of you may have already done that. And I'll show you how you can copy settings over, but we're not going to do that today. We're not going to copy any settings over. So you can go in right here and create or click on grade setup. Now you all have, or some of you are going to have that gradebook passback from Schoology into your gradebook of record, which might be PowerTeacher Pro or Skyward or Infinite Campus or a plethora of all of the different student information systems that are out there. And Schoology will talk to those, or your school may have decided that you're not going to have that gradebook passback. So we're all kind of in different places. I'm going to go ahead and go with the assumption that most of you have that gradebook passback. And can I tell you what you will need to do if you've got that gradebook passback, or you're going to have Schoology talk to your gradebook. If you're not going to have Schoology talk to your gradebook, it's not going to be a problem because you can still export your scores and then record them. So some school districts will choose not to have the passback where Schoology talks to your gradebook of record, and then they just have their teachers export those grades at the end of the grading term and then just enter them in one time. So everybody's situation is different. But what we're going to do today is we've got to set up a gradebook inside our practice course so that we can start creating some things and give them due dates. So depending on what your situation is, you want your gradebook here to match what's in your student information system. So it needs to match and look the same. So if you're doing category weighting, you have to have a category no matter what. You can go in and click this add button and let's add a category. Now I want you to think about what your school is doing and how those grades are configured. So you can go ahead and go in and add the different types of grades. So if I've got, say, 3 or 4 categories, I'm going to go ahead and create a classwork category. I'll go ahead and just leave it at total points and click create. So there's my first category. And if I want to add another category, I can go in and maybe this category is participation. I'm adding that category. And maybe I want to add a category and call it assessment. See how easy that is? I'm just adding those categories. And then maybe I want to add a category and we'll call it projects. And now I've got those added. Now the reason mine are popping up is because I've already added those before. So go ahead and add a couple of categories, or at least one category, so we can have some grading going on here in our sandbox. You can just, all you have to do really is for the sandbox, just add one category. But you can create it so that it's going to look like your grade book. And then I like to go in and choose a default because that means it's going to save me a couple of clicks here and there. And if I can save myself a couple of seconds, I might have saved myself an hour by the end of the school year. So, pardon me. So if most of my work is going to be classwork, I'll go ahead and make that the default. And then that way, I'll save a couple of clicks. And if I'm teaching those upper grades or lower grades, and I have weighted categories, I can click this button to weight those categories. And if I want assessments and projects to count 30% each, and if I want my classwork and my participation to count 20% each, now I have those categories and they are weighted. And so my next step is to go ahead and apply that gradebook scale, and depending on how your district has set that up for you, you will have a gradebook scale to attach to that information. And then you'll Schoology scroll all the way down and save those changes. Now, once this is set up, once you know that it's set up correctly, if you have the gradebook passback, you've double checked and you've made sure you've got it set up correctly, then you can go right over here to this copy settings icon, and I can copy those settings, any rubrics I have, any grading scales, over to all of my other courses that I happen to teach. So that's where I can do that. So this is a global setup, and once you get it done, you can copy it over and don't have to redo it. So now we've got our grades set up. That's one less thing that we have to do. And let's go ahead and take it back to our sandbox area. And now we can go in and we can start creating information and creating materials in our sandbox. Okay. So now we're ready to start doing the creation piece. And this is actually a really good time for us to take a quick little break. And then when we come back, we can go in and start doing our creation piece. So let's go ahead and I want you to set your, would like for you to set your watches, set your phones, whatever device that you have, set it for 8 minutes, okay? And come back and join me here in 8 minutes. And then we will continue on and we'll get heavy duty into that creation piece. And we will explore our groups and resources a little bit more, since a lot of you are school leaders in here today. We can explore how you can really leverage those groups. I'll let you take a test. I'll show you how you can work with Google and Microsoft OneDrive. And that will pretty much wrap up our day for us, or our morning rather. All right, so I'll go ahead and set that. I'll see you back here in 8 minutes. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Go ahead and winding it on down, and we're going to go ahead and pick up where we left off. So go ahead and join us. You've got about 10 seconds to get back, so hopefully you're within earshot of this, and we'll go ahead and take it back to our course. Okay, hopefully you've had a good little break there, and we are ready to start rocking and rolling and start creating information today. So you remember at the very beginning, I told you one of the most important pieces of working with Schoology is having a folder structure. And when you create your courses, whether they're courses for teachers or they're courses for students, you're going to want to have that folder structure as a way to organize your materials. And also, if you're using Google Drive or you're using OneDrive, you also want the ability to connect with that. So let's go ahead very quickly and let's see if we've got that connected. And I'll show you how you connect that Google Drive and or your OneDrive to Schoology. So when you want that connected, it's very easy to do. You're going to go right up here to your resources area. And you'll scroll over here to your apps area. And you will install apps. And now mine are already installed, so mine won't pop up, but just use your imagination for a moment. You should see Google Drive here or OneDrive. And then you'll click on that to install it and just follow the install process. And once it's installed, it's going to pop up right here on the side where you either have Google or you have OneDrive. And you'll click here on that Google Drive piece or your OneDrive, and then you'll connect it. You'll see where it says either connect or authorize. And once you've done that and you've connected it, then your Google Drive appears here, or access to your OneDrive appears here. And here's the thing that you need to know, that this is your actual OneDrive. This is your actual Google Drive. So if you go in and you start deleting things from one of those drives in this area, thinking you're going to clean out Schoology, too many things in Schoology, you're actually working in your actual OneDrive and your actual Google Drive. So anything you do here, you're doing to the actual real drive. And if you're getting an error message when you try to download Google Drive, what is your error message that you're receiving? And that's from the chat from Ashley. If you're getting an error message with Google, now yesterday, and I don't think Google's still having problems. You know, yesterday I think was like the techno apocalypse. Every school in the nation, actually almost in the world, had all gone back to school, many remotely. If you're having issues with Google, you can go in and click on that options and go to your account settings and make sure that you are signed in either with your school account, or this is where you can log out and come back in. That usually will solve that issue right there for you. And again, if you don't have that access right now today, it's not a worry. I will just be able to show you how you can go in and get that information. Okay, and how it works. So this may be if you're having a problem with that, you might need to see your Schoology administrator. Okay, that fixed it? Great, okay, great. And I'm talking to Ashley from the chat, by the way. Sometimes I'll be talking, somebody didn't realize I could see all the chat, and they're like, who's that lady talking to? Well, I was talking to someone from the chat there. So there we go. All right, so this is our sandbox. This is our course. Let's start creating. Now remember, we had those interactive pieces and we had those informational pieces. And I always like to start everyone out, especially our new users, with the bare bones basics. And if you're out there working with your teachers, you're going to be training your teachers, you're going to be showing them things. If you're brand new to Schoology in here, it can become very easy for you to get overwhelmed and thinking, how am I going to do all of this? You don't have to do everything. I'm going to show you some things. I'm going to show you some things for those of us who've already played in Schoology and want to take it to the next level. You don't have to do everything I'm showing you. But what is the most important thing that you need to be able to do in order to use Schoology effectively? Number one, you need to be able to know where you go to create materials for student use. And these are those materials that we can create by clicking on the Add Materials button. And these are those materials, and they're all icon-based. And you'll easily remember what these icons are as you begin using it. We've got those pieces that are informational, like our folders, and maybe our links. And then we've got those things that are interactive, like our discussions and our assignments. So, bare bones basics. As a teacher, if you can go in and you know how to create a folder, and you can create an assignment, a discussion, a page, and add a link, you're good to go. The rest will come into play. Matter of fact, you can even take it down. Can you add an assignment and a discussion? So, bare bones, what do you need to know to get through these first couple of weeks? Because teachers are stressed to the max. I know, my daughter's a teacher. All my friends are teachers. And, if you haven't cried yet, you're probably not a teacher if you haven't cried at the beginning of the school year. So, let's keep it super simple. But what you do absolutely need to do is create a folder. So I'm going to go ahead and show you some folder options today. And we're going to create a couple of folders. We're going to make a fancy one, and then we'll just create some generic folders. And then I'll show you how you can utilize resources to bring in the things you've already created. But let's start right now by creating a folder, and let's get a folder structure set up. So I'm going to go to Add Materials right up here at the top, and I'm going to add a folder. And this is our first step in having Schoology success. And I'm just going to decide right now, how am I going to set up and organize my course? Do I want it? Absolutely, you have to have a folder structure. But do I want those folders to be topical? By the day, by the week, like week 1 of 79, by the unit. It's up to you how you want those folders to look. It's entirely up to you. So I'm going to go ahead and just create a folder, and I'm going to call this, maybe this is just going to be a unit folder. We're going to call this Unit 1. And I've already got some things in here. Let's call it the Zoo ABCs. Okay, Unit 1, the Zoo ABCs. Now, a folder is a place that organizes your materials. And anytime you add content, notice you get a nice little content block. And you've seen this before. It popped up when you went in to add a discussion question. So anytime you're adding any sort of content, you're going to get a little box that's going to pop up. And based on the type of content you're adding, like this is a folder, I'll have certain options here. And depending on what you add, you'll have maybe more or less options, depending on the type of content you're adding. I can color my folder if I want to. I'll just make it pink. So if you're working with our lower elementary kiddos, you can know that if everything is pink, then it's social studies. If it's green, it's math. If it's yellow, it's reading. So you can color code your course as well. But this is just your basic information. And if I'm working with my little ones, or even my big ones, I want to let them know what's going on. So let's just call this, let's go to the zoo to learn our ABCs. Let's learn our ABCs at the zoo. And that's my information, just a little quick thing. But you all know as well as I do, our students now are visual. They play Minecraft. They play Fortnite. They're born practically with an iPad in their hands. I was at the airport back in March. Last time I was there, a little 3-month-old baby is in its little crib or its little stroller, and above it is this iPad that's like this far from the child's face watching Peppa Pig as a 3-month-old. So that's the kids we're getting. So they're used to this flashy stuff. So we want to make sure that we give our students a pleasant looking course, clean and organized. So you've got the option here to go in, and you see this little insert content box. That's going to become your best friend, because you'll use that when you're creating assignments and so forth, and you'll also use it as you create folders. So I can go in right here and I can add an image to my folder. And images are important. Using images to guide our students where they need to go. So you've got a couple of options with those images. You can go in and you can attach a file directly from your device, or you can get the web image. And in a moment, I'm going to show you where that web image is and how you can easily get images off the web. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and just attach a file. from my computer and actually have a file already there, kind of like, Rachel Ray has all the ingredients ready before she does her 30-minute meals. Well, I've got my little ingredients ready here. So here we go. There's our Zoo ABC image. Now, when you bring in this image, it's going to come in rather large, and that's going to take up too much screen real estate. So when you want to shrink an image that you bring in, if you click on the image, you've got a couple of options. You can either drop and drag from here and make it smaller or larger, or if you click on the image, you can go in and actually click that little button there. It's going to allow you to work with the, width. And so I'm just going to go ahead and make this 350 wide, and I'm going to just take out that one. There, the whatever that one is, and it will constrain those proportions. And then when I click OK, now that's a better size. So now I've got that image right there, created and ready to look nice for my students. Now, if you're teaching AP Physics, you could have a picture of a roller coaster. If you're teaching organic chemistry, you could have a picture of the different elements on the periodic table, whatever you want right here. Now, the date range, this is important, and your publishing. So when you choose to publish, that means that you are giving that student the accessibility and the visibility to the contents of this folder. And the parts and pieces of the folder are going to take on the characteristics or the parameters set here. So if your folder is unpublished, which means it cannot be viewed, no matter what, you can see it, but your students can't, they can't interact. Every single thing that's under that folder will also be unpublished. So you cannot have published items inside an unpublished folder. You can, however, choose to have it published at a certain date. So if you're not starting the ABC unit until mid-October, and you are one of those teachers that likes to plan way ahead, you can go in and choose to publish this on the start date. So if I wanted to, I could choose mid-October or the end of September as that start date. And then this folder and all of its contents would then be visible and accessible to my students on that date. I also have the option to publish it during a date range. So if we're going to be working on this unit from September 25th to October 17th, then I can have it published during that date range, and then it will unpublish on October 18th. But the problem with that is if you have items inside a published folder that have grades associated with them, and it goes to unpublished status, the grades disappear. They're still hanging out there, but they disappear from that student view and that parent view. So you might want to just go ahead and keep it published, or if you choose to unpublish it, move those items that have grades associated with it to another folder called completed work, so it can just kind of hang out there. In this instance, though, I'm just going to go ahead and choose to keep it published, and I just wanted to go ahead and point out those different options that you have when you do create a folder that you publish. So I can go ahead and I can click on Create. And now my folder has been published, and you can see there's the picture. Looks great, love it, awesome. So the picture's a little large, right? A little bit big. So what I can do, I have the option to go in and edit this. So I can go in and look at my gear icon. And the gear icon, when you see a gear, I want you to think of that gear icon as gear goodies. There are things in the gear, cheer for the gear, anything that's going to help you remember that gear. Because that gear icon allows me to go in and do a few things. So I can always go in and edit it. And if I didn't like that picture, not a problem, I can just get rid of it. But I need a picture. So this is where I'm going to take you out to this really awesome website. And if you are going out there and you're just using Google to search for your images, you're probably violating copyright. But you can go out to pixabay.com. And I love this site. I'll just put that here in the chat for you because I think it's worthy. And you know how you have those parents sometimes that just love you to death, and you love them, but they sometimes make you wish you taught in an orphanage. Well, you can go in and actually give parents, hey, I'm going to be teaching a unit on physics. So go out to Pixabay, find me some physics pictures that I can put in my unit. So give them something to do. But today, we're going to search for our ABCs. That's going to be the folder that I'm working with. I can go out here to Pixabay and do a search. And these are free for me to use. Now, these are how they make their money. Okay. But look at this. Right? There, you see that one? Recognize that one? I'd already gotten that one, right? But I can go in and I don't even have to download them. I can get these very simply. So this one's great because it looks like zoo animals. And I'm doing ABC with the zoo, right? So I can open this up. And if I create an account, I click download and boom, it goes right to it. But you don't have to create a free download or a free account. You don't have to do that. It's an extra step if you don't. But notice it's free and there's no attribution required. So when I want this picture and I need it fast, right click, open it up, right click on it, and I can copy that image address. And now when I go back to my folder and I want to add that picture, I can insert that image from the web. And so if you teach physics, if you teach science, if you teach math, you are going to find an image that's going to fit your grade level and your content. Whoops. So now when I'm ready, I've got to resize it. And I just like to do this way because it's just so much easier for me. And now, actually it needed to be a little smaller, didn't it? Here we go. There's my picture. It's ready to go. And now I'm able to start adding information here. So there we go. There's our zoo ABCs. If I chose to go back, I don't like that space there, then yeah, I can go delete that. Let me caution you about something. You can get crazy trying to get everything just perfect, and deleting the extra spaces and so forth. Don't worry about it. That doesn't affect content. Now, remember how I talked to you about resources earlier and how you've got that personal filing cabinet? Now, mine's pretty full. I collect lots of things in my resources, all kinds of things. So inside my resources, I actually have, there's my learning, there's that, I could use that. But I actually have a curriculum unit and curriculum unit folder. And inside that curriculum unit folder, I have all kinds of good stuff. And I actually have a unit already completed on the Elizabethan age. Okay. So if I want to use this in my course, I can go in and click that gear icon and I can add it to my course. So that's one way that I can get it. Or if I want to, I don't even have to go to resources and hunt for it. I can add materials from my resources. So you may hear someone say, I don't have resources. Yeah, you do. Just scroll. And I can import from my resources. So I can go in and actually bring this completed unit already. And I can even share that completed unit with others. So let me find that curriculum units area. And there it is, a completed unit already ready to go of Romeo and Juliet, the Elizabethan age. And I'm going to click import and just give it a couple of seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And there it is. Now, look what's in this folder. An entire unit of information, authors and poets, learning showcases, things that I want my students to do within that folder. So now I've got that brought in. And I can go in at any time and, I can click that icon and edit it. And I know I need to come in and edit this because this has got some extra space. I need to take care of that later. I can change the publishing dates on it and so forth. But here's the beauty of once you get materials inside your folder. Go over to that gear icon and you've got the ability to individually assign it to students. You have the ability to add what's called completion rules. So I can set parameters on this that say before the student can move on, he or she has to go in and complete certain items in order. So the authors and poets section you want to complete first, and then you've got to go into your learning showcase and you've got to complete that. So before you can move on, you've got to do these things. And if you've got to do those in order, I can click on that and make you do those in order. And when I do that, then I've got the ability to go in and view and see how my students are doing with their progress on a folder that has completion rules set. And again, if you change your mind, you can just take that away. You also have the ability to individually assign this folder and its contents to individual students or to grading groups. And once I've got a folder created, let's say I've got a really great unit on the ABCs created, I can go in and I can save it to resources and bring that in. Now, you know what? I already have this unit saved inside my resources already. And I'm going to go ahead and add that ABC unit that I already have ready and show you how easy, once again, it is to get those units in. So I'm going to add the material, and I want it to go on top of the Elizabethan age. If I add materials from here, they're going to go to the bottom. But if I add it from right here where that little icon pops in, I can go in and I can add, again, remember how it's a Schoology scroll to see it. I'm going to import from my resources. And I actually had, I saw it in there, the ABC unit with the little dragons, I think right here. I can go ahead and add this unit right away here, and it's already ready. And it has all of my content and all of the information that I need. If I added the right one, it does. So we'll see. Oh, no, I added an empty folder, but not a big deal. I'm going to show you how to get information inside the folder anyway. So that's kind of how it works. So here's what I want you to do really quickly. I want you to just create a couple of folders and create one fancy folder where you've gone in and you have added an image to your folder. And then we'll take it and we'll add some materials to our folders. So go ahead and take a moment to do that. And if you have any questions on how to do that, just simply ask. All right. Do you need a little more time? All right, images from the web not working. Okay, Susan. So you've got some problems with images from the web not working. If they're not working, then you didn't get the address right. Usually that's the problem. Where did you go to get your image? If you went to Pixabay, you have to open the image. So if you're on Pixabay, you do need to open that image to be able to get it. Yeah, okay. So on Pixabay, let me just search for physics. So on Pixabay, what you have to do, you have to actually open the image to get it. So if you open it and then you right click on it, you copy the image address. If it's not working, that may mean that your district has blocked Pixabay. If that's the case, then you can go in and do a free download and then just insert it from your device. But usually Pixabay is opened. But you might want to check that. Sometimes that could be the problem. But make sure you do open the image to copy that image address. All right, you've got a couple of folders created now. And maybe you had something in your resources. Okay, opening it, fixed it. Great. Great to know, Susan. Thank you. All right. So now we've got it ready. Let's start adding some materials to our folders. Now, as you're creating inside Schoology, if you add from the Add Materials area up here, okay, it's going to automatically default to the bottom. And, I'm a member of some great groups on Facebook, Schoology educators. Sometimes people are saying, why isn't the default at the top? It's because the default is at the bottom. It doesn't matter if it's top or bottom. Because if I want something to go on top, I can just click right here and hover and discover till you see that little arrow. And if I want something to go to the top, I can put it right here. Or if I want something to go in between, I can put it right here. And you see I still have the ability to add that information here. Now, one of the things I want to show you as well as the fact that you don't have to start over. You don't have to create from scratch. Did you know that you can actually go out there on the web, and I'll just go ahead and add materials right here. You can go out there and you can import things from public resources too. So if I scroll down, okay, you don't see import from resources here, do you? And you're going to hear teachers say, I don't have it. Yes, you do. Schoology scroll. I have the ability right here to import from my resources, or I can actually go out to my resources and look right here, find resources that are out there. So if I'm doing a unit about learning our letters, I can go out and find resources and search the public lands of Schoology to find resources that have to do with letters and sounds, or our ABCs. So give that just a moment to load. I can go in now and I can search for ABCs. Or maybe I can search for letters. Let's do, I'll search for ABCs. I can search by the subject, and maybe this is ELA. I can search by the resource type, okay, and so forth. I can search by level. And what I've got right here is this sing-along that's popped up. Now, I already know I want this one. I want to use it. So I can choose if this is the one I like. I can open it up, obviously, and look at it. And this is the little sing-along, Senior ABCs. And if I want to use it, then I'm going to go right here, and I can add it to my little sandbox folder here. And I can add it to my Zoo ABCs. And I can bring that in and work with that in that course as an assignment. I can go in and give it a due date and all that good thing, but I can just go ahead and add it right now, and it's going to go directly to my folder of my, Zoo ABCs in my TEA sandbox. Now, if you're doing it live, sometimes you have to refresh. And it wasn't added because I forgot to add a category. Okay, sometimes that happens. Let's try it again. I made the mistake. That's okay. That happens. Again, importing from resources, Schoology scroll, find your resources. I'm going to find that ABCs. You need the demo again for this anyway. And I'm going to do my subject as ELA. And there it is. Now I'm going to add this to my course. I'm going to put it under the Zoo ABCs. I have to give it a category. Now it can come in. Now it will work. Now let me go back and refresh. And now with very little work on my part, I have my Zoo ABCs assignment that I got from resources. Pretty easy, right? Awesome stuff. And here's the best part. Now that I have it, I can go in and I can actually copy it to other courses that I'm teaching. So again, look at this conceptually. Even if this were an advanced organic chemistry assessment that I downloaded, I have still have the same options to copy it to other courses. I can go in and even save it to resources. And at any time, I can go in and edit that assignment. So that's why I can get assignments that are already created out there. Now again, these are created by teachers. I recommend that you read it, look over every word, because you never know when there's a typo. That's going to be a word, I'll give you a real live example. The word shift, S-H-I-F-T. They were talking about a shift in mindset, left out the F. Okay, completely total accident. You don't want that appearing though, and that stuff does happen. So just be sure and read it. But now let's add an assignment from scratch. And I'm going to walk you through how you add an assignment that's a Google assignment and how you add an assignment that would be a generic assignment, or a OneDrive. So let's go ahead and start right now with a generic assignment. And I have the option, again, to add in the assignments directly inside a folder. I can choose to add the assignment right here between folders and let it be kind of an orphan as a standalone. Or I can go in and add it directly within the folder. And that's going to be my choice now because it keeps my course organized. So I'm going to go in and add an assignment. And I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about the different parts and pieces that you have when you go in and add an assignment. So if you'll click on add an assignment, we'll walk through this together. So the first thing I want to do is give the assignment a name. And I'm just going to call this one the Who Let the Letters Out assignment. And I already have done that already. That's why it's there. So who let the letters out? This area, notice I'm adding content. So what do we get? A beautiful little content block. And inside this block, there's my best friend inserting content. And look at my options. Got a few more there. Then I also have the option to choose what I want it to look like, have a heading or so forth. And then I've got the ability to switch to HTML. So if I wanted to embed something, like maybe a Google form, or if I wanted to embed, say, a video from National Geographic, or if I wanted to embed something within the assignment right here and want it embedded, I can go in and switch to HTML and copy and paste that embed code right here if I needed to. You don't have to do that very often, but I just wanted to show you that option was there. But in this case, I've got an assignment, and I want the students to watch a video before they do anything else. So I'm going to add a video to this assignment. I'm going to say, watch the video first. And then I want you to tell about your favorite letter and list three animals, list three zoo animals that start with that letter. Okay, so there's my instructions. So these are my directions. And if I want to make sure that the students see this, I want to make sure the students see it. I'm going to make it bigger, okay? And I want you to watch the video first. I'm going to point that out to you because we all know how our students are. We're not going to do it. So let's make sure that I have highlighted this. Okay? Watch the video first. I'm even going to go as far and make it red on yellow. How can you miss that? And we know they will, at least the first couple of times. So watch the video first. So now I've got to get a video in. And this is where I'm going to go to my best friend, the Insert Content button. I'm going to insert the content, and I can insert things from Google Drive if I want to, things from OneDrive, but I'm going out to YouTube. And I'm going to find this video about who let the letters out. And for those of you that are like the lower grades, her name is Dr. Jean, and she sings the most annoying songs, and you will, if you see that and you watch it, you as well will be singing it all day and you will hate me. So don't listen to it. Okay, I'll go and listen to it, right? So anyway, when I have a video, do you remember the pizza and taco assignment? This is how I put the videos into the pizza and taco assignment. So I go right over here and I'm just going to select import as embed. And now that video has now been embedded. Okay, right there, ready for my kiddos to watch. Notice how I have different options right here. And let's say my students don't have reading skills yet, or maybe we've got students that need to hear me read the instructions. So here I can go in and I can record the audio instructions. Watch the video first, then list three of your favorite letters and animals that go along with those letters. And I know that doesn't match what I just said or what the instructions were, but I'm just showing you what to do. So I can add that audio or video recording to go along with it for my students to see. And if I want to attach Google Drive or OneDrive assignments, this is where I could go and attach those assignments. I'll work our way back around that in just a little bit. But I can go in and give a due date. And so I'm going to go ahead and make this assignment due today. And it's going to be, do it midnight. That's fine. You have to give it a classwork or a category. I'm going to choose classwork. That was my default. And if I didn't choose that default, I'd have to click and choose which one I want it to go to, if it's something other than default. And the factor is just basically the weighting, how much that's going to count. Here, I can align my learning objectives to any assignment. So I can go in here and I can find those learning objectives for us here in Texas, our TEKS and so forth. And I'll be able to align those and select those learning objectives. And sometimes courses even have those objectives selected. So, so we can go in and align those. And my sandbox may not really be set up for that right now, but yours will be. You'll have not your sandbox, but your actual course. So I can go in and align learning objectives. And then as I scroll down, so look at the bottom of my screen, here are my options with an assignment. Number one, I can individually assign it to individual students or grading groups. I can go in and lock the assignment. And what that means is that once the assignment is locked, the visibility of the assignment goes away and the ability of a student to go in and actually turn things in goes away. So if I don't lock this assignment, then students can keep turning it in and turning it in and turning it in. Well, if I know that after a certain date, because of maybe grading periods, if I know that after September 2024, if I know that I don't want to accept this assignment past September 24th, then on September 24th, that's it, because grades are due the next day. Then I can lock that assignment. And if I want students to comment on the assignment before they turn it in and have a running comment list, great, I can do that. But I prefer to take that off. I don't want students commenting about it. There may be some instances where I do, but in this case, no. And then I'm going to go ahead and create the assignment. And now my assignment is created. And if I want to see what my student sees, once I have members in my class, and notice I don't have any members here, so I'm just going to go ahead and add Angela Lerner really quickly. You won't ever do this. This is just for training purposes, so I can get a member in my class to show you how that piece works. So let me go ahead and add Angela Lerner to my class. And again, you won't ever do that part. But if I want to see what my student sees, then I can go to the Members tab, and I can preview the course as Angela Lerner from here, or I can go to my course options and I can view the course as any of the students that are inside. So if I want to see what Angela Lerner sees, notice here I am viewing the course as Angela Lerner, and I can go in and I can see what Angela Lerner is going to see. So here's my assignment. You let the letters out. Watch the video first, then tell your favorite animal. So that looks great. That looks exactly what I want, like what I want to see. And if that were already loaded, it's still converting. She would be able to listen to me read that information. And if you are doing audio, you might want to make a little notation right at first as kids are learning the system. Hey, scroll down to the bottom if you need to hear me read the instructions. Or draw an arrow or something like that for them. So that's what it looks like as Angela Lerner. Now I can go back to my course and I'm ready to start editing. And then I'm like, where did my stuff go? I have no icons. I have no gear. What's going on? And your inclination is going to be to call the help desk. You've just forgotten to go back to your course. And I do that all the time. And that's why I wanted to mention that. So that's how that works. Now, remember how I put the student progress here? If I have student progress on a folder, I can go and look and see how Angela Lerner's doing on that progress. And I can recheck it and see where she is in the scheme of things. Okay? So once she gets started, it will let me know a percentage of how she's doing on that folder. And that's if I gave it those completion rules. So that's sort of some information about how we will work with assignments. So let's go ahead now and go ahead and just create a blanket assignment, just a generic assignment. See what you think and see how that works for you. And again, we're going to keep it simple. You don't have to do anything really fancy. Having good instructions is important. Go ahead and take just a moment and create an assignment, or two if you like. Put it inside a folder. Search those resources. And you know what you can do if you don't want to search the resources from within here? If you click on resources and you click that search button, you can search resources. You can also go to the public resources And you click on public and you can search those public resources from there too by clicking that resource button. So check it out. Find something, add an assignment, whether you create it yourself or whether you add it on your own and create it, or add it from here. Ooh, I like that badge. I just now saw that. I'm going to use that badge today. I'm going to add this badge. I'm going to add it to my downloads. Always look to see if you add something to your resources where you put it. I'm just going to give you like 2 minutes to kind of digest. And I'm setting that timer really, it's more for me. It's not really trying to rush you. I just want to make sure that I don't forget to have us move along. All right, any questions as you are working on your assignment? I'll go ahead and take it on over here to our course and see if there's any questions in that parking lot I can address while you're working as well. Got some questions there, awesome. And Melissa, did you see where on that assignment they can save it as the, or you can submit it as a draft? Do I need to show you that again? Let me know if I do. I'm not sure, Genevieve, about the asynchronous feature on attendance. I think that it does. Let me check on that. I'm not going to like this. That means I haven't answered it yet. Let me check on that and find out. If you don't see the Google Drive as an option under Submit Assignment, Lainey, I'm going to show you how to get that here in just a moment. So let me show you how to do that. And yes, if you are, for Jack, if you are an admin, you can force the install from the App Center for every school, and you can already have that installed. However, the student, I believe, will need to go and actually log in that one time and connect it and authorize it, but you can force that install from the administration side. And Mrs. Brock, if your school has it set up so that you have gradebook passback, then yes, your Schoology grades will transfer and your assignments will transfer over to the school's gradebook system. And then Silva, no, they can't delete it. It's just there, but you can choose what you want to grade. Okay, so let me go ahead and tell you, if you don't see that Google Drive as an option, what you need to do. And then I'll point out those analytics for you as well. Okay, so answering 2 of those questions in that chat. So if you are not seeing the option to add a Google Drive assignment, then what you want to do is you want to go over here to the little 4 squares, and you should all have access to that. And if you click on that, that's going to take you to the App Center. And in that App Center, you have the Google Drive Assignments app, and you'll click on that. And then you will just install that app and follow those install instructions for yourself. And yours may look different than mine. I've got different rights than you do, but you can install that app for yourself for all of your courses. So again, going to that App Center here on those 4 squares will allow you to go to your App Center, and then you just find that Google Drive Assignments app, and you can also find your OneDrive too. Now, you kind of get the scroll of death going through here, so what I do when I want to find something, I just do a Command F or Control F, and if I'm looking for OneDrive, I can go in and find that very easy, the OneDrive resource app right here, and can bring that in, or my OneDrive assignment app will be in there as well. Sometimes it's easier to scroll, sometimes it's just easier to just find it. There it is, the OneDrive Assignments. So that's the OneDrive Assignments app that you can add, or you can add that Google Drive Assignments app as well to get that to pop up for you. All right. If you don't have the 4 square icon, that is because your district has not given you those permissions. So you will have to get those permissions to be able to get that installed. The other way would be to go to those resources and to go to that apps area to see what is there for you right now, to see what your district has allowed you to work at. We can go to install apps and see what's going to pop up for you. But if you don't have anything popping up there for you, then your district has not enabled those rights for you. So you need to speak with your district person. Okay? All right, awesome, awesome. We have gone in, we've created some assignments. Any questions on what you need to do with your generic assignment creation? Okay. Now, next, I want to go ahead and talk to you about discussions and how we create discussions and give you a few little information about, discussion pieces. And at that point, you've got the basics down. You can create a folder, you can create an assignment, you can create a discussion. And then from there, I want to take you into Pages, and then we're going to talk a little bit about our assessments and let you take one. Check that out, see what that's like. And that will finish up our time together today. All right, so let's talk about discussions. I'm going to go ahead and put a discussion in my Elizabethan Age folder. Let's go ahead and take it to the high school level. And I am going to create the discussion directly in the folder, because that's how I like to roll. That doesn't mean that's right or wrong. You will develop your own type of organizational system. You don't necessarily have to do things the way I show you. I'm doing what works best for me. You will do what works best for you. But trust me, you absolutely want to have a folder structure. Just take my word for it. And for those of you, if you don't have the tools icon, that's fine. That's usually reserved for administrators. So if you are not an admin or a principal of your school, you probably will not have that tools icon. So don't worry about that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and add materials, and I'm going to add a discussion. Now remember, I already told you, how do you go and moderate? Do you remember how you moderate those posts? Where do you go to? Under your course options. But I haven't moderated these. But I'm going to add my discussion question. And back when I was a little young teacher, fresh out of college, 21, I went in for a job interview, and the principal sat across his desk, a big burly guy, leans over and he says, I have one question for you, and this is going to determine if you get the job or not. So you've got an important answer. A lot's writing on it. One question. And his question was, why? I'm serious. That was my question for my job interview. And I looked at him and I thought, because? And he said, you got the job. You're the only one that didn't ask. I don't know what you mean. So, yeah, I only stayed there a year, by the way. So you know how that is. But you can go ahead and you can put in your discussion question here. What do you want the students to do? These are your instructions. And again, you can lather, rinse, repeat. So let me show you what you can do. And if you see it here in discussions, you can also do it in assignments. Let's say that I want you to answer a question, whatever it is. And I'm just going to type in Swedish. So just pretend like you know what that is. Based on the slideshow you're going to view. So if I want to import something from Google, okay, if I've got my Google going on, I can go right here. And since I've got my Google Drive resource here, I can go in and I can import something from Google. Now it's going to open up, and if I want them to like view a slideshow, I can have you view, any slideshow that's here. And I do know that I have a slideshow created on dinosaurs. So I know that has nothing to do with Shakespeare, but again, I'm just going to go ahead and demo this. So if I want you to view this slideshow on dinosaurs and somehow connect it to Shakespeare, then there you go. So notice again, go to the gear, cheer for the gear, or goodies under the gear. I can click on that gear and I'm going to either import it as a link, which my kids have to click to get to, or I can import it as embed. So I'm going to go ahead and embed this slideshow inside my discussion question. And I still have the option to embed that slideshow inside an announcement as well. Okay, so I'm embedding that right there. And again, I can still lather, rinse, repeat. I've got these options here. We'll give it a due date. Let's make it due September 10th. And if I want it to be a graded discussion, I can have it graded. And if I want it graded, then I'm going to have to set a time for it to, have a due date. And then again, I can assign it, lock it. But the piece that you may not have noticed is right here. I want you to respond before you look at everybody else's. This is where I can make you respond first. And then I just simply click create, and that discussion is now created. So what does it look like? See your little icon, you know what it is. Here's your why. There are your instructions, and now there is that slideshow from Google that has popped in right there, ready for me to work with. Okay, so as a student, I can go in, and then I can respond to that discussion question. If it were an assignment, I could still work with it as the assignment. So discussion questions are easy. Okay, I want to take a look at that real quick and look at those little options that you have with those discussions. And now you can go in and you've been able to create discussions. Now, notice when I put a due date, look here, there's your why, and there's your who you wrote the letters out. So that's going to pop up right there, and as well as a notification is going to pop up for my kiddos too. And in my course, automatically, it's going to be on that calendar for my students and for me. So there's no reason why your students would never know what was due or what you have assigned for them. It's always going to pop up right there. So now, would you like to experience what a Google assignment looks like and what you will do with that? Or also known as OneDrive assignment. I can do it in Google real simply, and it's going to look the same in OneDrive. But would you like to see that and actually participate in that? Or do you feel like you've kind of got that already? Let me know in the chat, or somebody come off mic and decide for everybody. What would you like to do? Would you like to see that? Yes, please. Thank you, Genevieve. Yay. Okay, well, here we go. So I have inside our course, and as you've gone through the course, you'll see you've got all kinds of helpful hints and things you can do, assignment examples and so forth. Well, right here, I've got a special Google assignment, and I've got some Google assignment samples for us. And today I'm going to have you just create a pet resume. So you've already seen me go through the creation of an assignment piece, right? Well, here it is. There's your create. It's just a generic Google assignment. And if this were OneDrive assignment, it would work the same way. I'm going to go ahead and use Google because I've got that out there. So here are your instructions. Hey, we love our pets. Create your pet resume. No pet, no problem. So if you don't have a pet, you can just create your favorite cartoon character or something like that. And I'm going to give you a template. And you're free to create your own thing as well. You can just delete everything off that template if you want to and create your own. But I want to show you what it looks like. So when I created this Google assignment, I'm going to assign this from Google. So I'm going to click here on Google Drive, and I am going to assign that pet resume assignment. Now, my Google Drive's not the most organized. It's my training drive. It's how I roll. It works for me. So I can just search right here and find that pet resume that I am wanting you all to go in and do. And there it is. Now notice what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on it and I'm going to attach it. And what's going to happen now, it's creating a copy for each of you. So if you've used Google Classroom before, this is where there's a lot of similarity with Google Classroom. So I'm creating that copy for each of you. Or using OneDrive, I'll be creating a copy in OneDrive as well. So it all works the same. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and give it a due date of today, so it will pop up for you. And I'll let you have it. I'm going to make this, make it due at 11:59. We'll go ahead and leave it ladder, rinse, repeat. Okay. Look at that. I've got some learning objectives already aligned with it. I'm not going to lock it. I'm going to publish it. There we go. Save those changes. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go over to our course and refresh it if that's not popping up for you. And over here on the right, in your right-hand column, to the right, everything you know is in column to the right. That's my imitation of Beyonce. Instead of to the left, to the right. So right here, you're going to create your pet resume. And you're going to open that up and you're going to start working on it. And again, I just want you to open it up and check it out. And I'm going to show you what I see as the teacher. So when I go in as Angela Lerner, where'd you go, Angela Lerner? Where is she? There she is. So when I go in as Angela Lerner and I'm that student, here's what your students are going to see. And you can go in and experience it yourself as well. So you click on that and you've got all of your instructions. And if this was OneDrive, it would be the same thing. But notice, when kids first start doing this, I've got to train them, click on my document to get started. So you're going to click on your document to get started until my kids count back from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. There it is. Because if they don't count down, mine's not loading, oh, there it is. So all of a sudden they're questioning you. Hey, why is that not there? Okay. So now here it is. It's ready for you to start working with. I'm putting on my teacher hat. Let me go back to here's the teacher. So you've got it open and you're working on it as a student. So you go ahead, you can, and you don't have to actually do it, but take out some boxes, type in a name, that sort of thing. So as the teacher, when I go and I start working on it and looking at it, I can see now who is in progress. And let's see, Rachel, let's see if we've got some people open. There's Stephanie, if you've got access denied, you're not connected to your Google. So you'll want to go in and reconnect to Google, okay? Who has got it open? Let me refresh here. Anybody having issues opening it? You shouldn't.
Okay, Angela Lerner
got hers open.
Maybe I'll just.
All right, there we go. Yay, Susan. Susan got hers open. If Susan can open hers, everybody can. All right, now watch, or you should be able to. Now your district may have it blocked where you can't access things from outside your domain. All right, let's look at Susan. Now, Susan's working on this, and in live view, and just like with OneDrive, I am able to view live what's happening. So whether or not this was OneDrive or whether or not it's Google, it's the same thing. So Susan Nelson, go ahead and make a change. Do something. Capitalize lion all the way across. Do something. So I'm watching Susan as she's working. So Susan, do something here. There she is. Pops up. There she goes. She's highlighted it. Look at that. She's working on it. So I can see exactly what's happening. Now, look, there she is there. She's coming in. She's going to add something to personality. What will she do next? So I can watch her and see what's going on. And I can do that with all of my students. And what's even better is while she's working, I can come in and I can interact with her. So I can actually go on and highlight that for her and put, hey, type your own information. And let her know she needs to type there. I can go in and I can make a comment while she's working. So immediately as she's working, I can go in and I can comment and we can have a conversation about what's happening. And what's great is if you assign Google and maybe you assign a document to one group of students and they're going to be editing it together, you can still go in and look at those revisions and you can see the version history and I can see who has done what and when and the time that they were working on it. So you've got all those cool options as well. Right there. So that's how that works. Now, once the student has done, here's Angela Lerner, and I'm just going to say Nikki. Oh, you know, my poor little doggy. She's 15 and a half and is not doing really well. She's having some issues. So we're going to keep my fingers crossed for my little dog. I hope she's going to be okay. All right, so Angela Lerner now has submitted her assignment. So now what do I see as the teacher? So here, I've got my teacher hat on. Here are my submissions. And here's Rachel. She is submitted. And Colin has, and Angela Lerner has. So now what I can do as we go in, I can go in and actually grade this assignment. And I can open it up in Google Drive or I can grade it from here. I can assign that grade. There are 100. I've got the gradebook comment. The same thing as you had before on like that submission assignment, that regular generic assignment on the discussions. You have the same kind of thing. It just looks a little different. And then I can save that grade. Now Angela Lerner has her grade there on her assignment. What does that look like in Google Drive? Well, here's what it does for you in Google Drive. So let me go in to my Google Drive and get there for you. And you better not judge my Google Drive. This is my training drive. It doesn't matter because this is how I roll anyway. I don't, you know, I like things. You know, I'm right brain. Anything that's organized, I can't find it. So what's going to happen is when I go into my Google Drive, Schoology is going to create a Schoology Google Drive assignments folder. And depending on what course it is, it's going to create a course folder. Okay? And here is our TEA course right here. And there is our Create a Pet Resume. And here are all of the documents that everyone has worked on from right inside Google Drive. So I've got the ability to have that. Oh, look at the little. So very quickly it'll look, oh, look what Molly did. That's so cute. So you've got the ability to look at it from this way as well. And if it were in OneDrive, you'd be able to see it in OneDrive too. So that's how that works with an assignment. Okay. So questions on that. Now, somebody said, how did you get Google Drive to populate when you were adding assignments? You've added the app. So what you're going to do, again, let me go and take you back to the course. And what I did was go in and work with my assignment, my Google Drive assignment. So if I've got, come on, open up for me. Open up for me. Try one more time. Just find my Google Drive assignment. So I've got a letter to your teacher assignment here. So when I go in, I create the assignment. I'm going to go to that Google Drive Assignments app, and that's where you need to install that from those little four corners. And then I just find that assignment inside, and then I select it and attach it. So, you know, whatever, if it's my letter to my teacher, then I would just attach that letter to the teacher right here. Just choose the word and attach it. Okay. So that's how you would work with that. I just have to find my letter. I don't have the right one. But that's how that works. You just attach that way. Okay, questions so far? Let's see if there's any other new questions in that parking lot. Are your apps connected to digital textbook resources? I haven't connected those apps. If McGraw-Hill is there, you should be able to get that direct connection. You can always use direct links to connect. That one I don't have an answer for you. You're just going to have to check it out and see. If it's there in the App Center, you should be able to direct link to automatically direct. But if not, you can always do that. And does the grade work to Skyward only allow numerical grades? Your PK and kindergarten are mastery based. It depends on how your grade book is set up. So if you've got your grade, as long as your Schoology grade book mimics your LMS grade book, you're fine. And it depends on how your Schoology people have set up those grade scales for you. So you should be able to get those grade scales set up to replicate mastery based. And attendance, you do have asynchronous attendance, I believe, and you can do that one. Answer those two. And there was someone I told you to tell me to come back to. This one right here, Ashley. Let me go ahead and show you this real quick. Okay, Ashley's question. So now you've seen assignments, you've created folders, you've seen discussions. That's your bare bones basics. You got it down. You're good to go. The rest will all come. So let's check out. If you want to see what your students have been up to, over on the left, you can go to Analytics. And again, mine's a sandbox. It's probably not going to be showing. You and I are not in the same domain. We don't have those real live connections. But use your imagination for just a moment. I would be able to see when you last accessed Schoology. I will be able to see when you last looked at your material and how long you spent on each assignment. Okay. And in addition to that, I can look at historical data and see what you have done by assignment and by the discussions and by the different links. So under the analytics, you're going to get a lot of data for yourself. So these are all the assignments that I have in this course, quite a few. And again, we are all not connected, but I wanted to show you what you can see by those analytics, by the assignment, and also by the user. So here I can look in and see when you logged in, how long you've spent, number of posts that you've made, and so forth. And again, because we're not connected, you're not going to see everything, but in your actual instance, you will be able to see that information. Okay? So that's all hidden right there under that little analytics tab. So be sure and take a look at that once you get your courses loaded and so forth. Right. So that leaves us with a few minutes left to go in, and let's check out the assessment piece. Okay, we've got assessments. I want to show you that. And if we have time, I want to come back and show you some pages and those media albums. Again, you can come back and look at that. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed. So again, what do you absolutely need to know? And you've got this course to come back to. So we've covered our courses and groups and resources. We know what those are. You've had a chance to look at your course. We have created folders. We've created pages and so forth. We'll come back around to files and links. We've done discussions and assignments. We're getting ready to take a look at assessments. We've done our grade book. So let's take a look at assessments. And then with the time left, we can work our way back to files and links and over to pages. Okay? So let's get into that assessment piece. All right, everybody, it's time for you to take a test. That's right, you're going to take a test today. And I'm going to take you in right now to our assessment piece. And I'm going to give you a test for you to take as a student. And I'm going to go ahead and let you take this course sampler mixed levels. And I'm going to go ahead and put a time limit on you for it. So I've already got this course created. I'm going to go ahead and make it due today. And I want you to submit online. And I'll go ahead and give it a classwork. Okay. And I'm going to save those changes. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to edit the actual course. And notice some things that I get to do before I shifted out there to you. I'm going to go in and I am going to put a time limit on you. I'm just going to let you take it twice, and I'll let you see the correct answers. And I'm going to give you a time limit on this, and I'm just going to give you 4 minutes. Okay, you got a 4 minute to go and work on it. So here's what I want you to do, kids. Let's get back into our TEA course and let's become a student again. And here's what I want you to do. As you're looking at this test, this little sampler right here, there's lots of little interesting things that you can do. I'm going to have you go in and look at it, look at all the different question types. And again, you don't have to get everything right. Look at it too from your perspective of perhaps what you're teaching or what your teachers will be teaching. You may see some elementary questions and think, oh, well, it's drag and drop. Oh, it's drag and drop. How can I use that in my course? You may see some advanced questions and everything. So go ahead and go in and click on that course assessment sampler and start taking that test. And in a moment, I'll call your attention back to my screen and let you see what I'm seeing. And automatically look there and see who's in progress. So go ahead and get started. Check out the different question types. Right now, if you'll take a look at my screen while you're working, if you've got two screens, you can see that I can see where everyone is in progress. Okay, see who hasn't started yet. And now, because I'm a sandbox and we're not connected, use your imagination again with me. But I am able to view the live progress. So in your real environment, you'll be able to see what item the student is on, their actual progress, how long they're spending on each item, and if they flagged any items. And again, you only have like 4 minutes, and so we'll kick you out here in just a moment. Lots of parts and pieces. And again, you don't have to answer everything correctly. Our main goal here is just for you to look at those questions and kind of see what the possibilities are. right, as you can see, we've got a couple of people that have finished. They ran out of time. Your 4 minutes is just about up. And you can see if it's a scores pending, that means you spent your 4 minutes. Some of you are still in progress. Some of you have actually gotten finished already. So here's what I need you to do for those of you that are working on it. You should go ahead and pretty much be finished. If not, go ahead and submit and come on back to my screen. Let's take a look and see what's happening here. All right. So here we go. So as we look at my screen, I was going to say my score. As we look at my screen, let me refresh it so we get a good idea. I can see where everyone is in the scheme of things, and I'm going to know how much time you spent taking this quiz. So Mrs. Brock spent 4 minutes. Looks like some of it's not popping up for us, but I can tell once you're done how much time you spent on that test. And let's say that Amanda, the bell rang for whatever reason, and Amanda forgot to submit her test. I can go in, I've got the little icons, I can submit her test for her. And if I saw perhaps that a student had only spent 1 minute on the test and they just went and just randomly answered, I can go in and actually unsubmit for them and make them start again. So I can unsubmit and make them start again. So you've got those options. Now, as we're looking at it, though, I can go in here and I can look at things by the question. And I can get the average score of the question. Now, there are 2 types of questions. There are questions that the computer is going to be able to grade itself. And then there are those types of questions that require human interaction. So right now, I can get a real quick view that says, hey, everybody knows how to tell time. 100% of you got it correct. But down here, wow, nobody knows how to do these math problems. So I need to kind of go back and work with us on that. So I can look very easily by the question, and I can see which questions actually have to have that human interaction. All these were scored together. Now, inside of our course, our TEA course, there under the assessments piece, there is a little slideshow that will detail all of the information about the assessments that you can look at a little bit later on your own to kind of get more information if you need information on the assessments. So when I'm ready to grade, you notice you have a highlighting of the image. I love that because it actually has students go in and physically manipulate and draw on an image. So this is the one that requires me to go in and assess the mastery of that problem. And let's see if I can find somebody that got to it. There we go. So I can go in and I can replay and I can see Diana's thought process. And I can watch and see how she drew and how she connected everything. And from here, I'll give her the full 3 points. Okay. So you've got that option as well. So when I have to go in and grade it myself, those are the ways we can do it. I'm going to go ahead and grade just the top 3 just so you can see what that's going to look like in my assessment category. So I'll just grade our top 3 here. Well, we'll go ahead and grade the top 4. So I like the ability to be able to look and see what you actually drew and how you drew it. So you've got that ability. Now I've got another question I've got to physically grade, and that was that short answer. And I can go in and I can look, and I can see the full question here. And let's just assume that Rachel had the right answer. And let's assume here that Stephanie didn't, so she doesn't get credit for it. And if you had had the chance to answer, I know this was just a random thing, but that's how I would go and score those. Once those are scored, okay, then I can go back here to my student view, and I will be able to see the grades that those students received because now their grading is complete. And so you can see the grading is complete here, and 10 out of 20, 6 out of 20. And here's what's great about this. Okay, I've graded it here. I don't have to go enter it anywhere else. Because when I go back to my grade book, those grades are already in. Those grades are already there. Look at resume, already there when I grade things from within. It's going to talk to your grade book of record and bring those grades in if that's how your school has it set up. So it's quite simple to go in and do that. So that's how assessments work. So now your question is probably, how do I go in and set up an assessment? So let's just go ahead and work from our course. So when you're ready to actually go in and set up an assessment, you will go in and you will add materials and you're going to add the assessment. And so there's a couple of steps that you have to follow. The first step is going to be where you're setting it here up in the gradebook area. The name of it, the due date, if your submissions are enabled or not, and so forth. So that's going to be your first step to go in and work with that assessment. And then the next step is once you've got that setup piece done, right here, you've got that setup piece, you're going to add your instructions. And this instruction, those are your landing page. So you know when you went in and it said, hey, take this is the amount of time you have on it. Okay. That area now is right here. So you set it up in the grade book and then go in and you're going to set it up right here for the students. And this is where you can go in and add those assessment settings. You can add information to that toolbar, you know, the little extra helps. And you can actually set those student settings with those results and the number of times the students can take it and work from there, and then you save it. And then your third step is going to be go in and actually start adding questions. So this assessment already has questions added. And look at all of the different types of questions that you can add to an assessment. Fill in the blank. These are the highlight image, the highlighting of text, number line, labeling of the image. And it's going to tell you the type of question that you have right here. Once all of your questions are in, you can go in and you can reorder them if you like. Okay. You can change how many points each question is worth. And you can even go over here to your gear icon and you can edit. And when you click edit, you're actually editing, whoops, give it a moment. You're actually editing the setup of the task with that gradebook piece. When you want to edit a question, you have to click on the question itself to edit the question. And that can be confusing because you would think edit would let you edit the questions, but you've got to click on the question and edit it. So this is where I can go in and I can edit the question. As you can see, there's a little image here. And then once I've edited the question, I can save it from there. So I'm just going to go ahead real quick and I'm going to add a question to this test. I'm just going to add a multiple choice question and show you how easy this works. So here's my question stem. Now watch this because this is really pretty valuable. When I go in to add the question stem, look at all the options I have. I can go in and I can add audio and video. Did you see the spelling test? How you had audio and video added? I can add images to my question stem. I can add just the plain question. So if I've got a question, what color was the quick brown fox who jumped over the lazy dog? I can add my options, and I can even add images to go along with it. And I'm not getting that information. I see somebody, Susan, is saying, hey, we got a partial service interruption. Hopefully not. I'm okay right now. Some of you may be getting that. Just try to refresh. Again, the entire world is on the internet today. We've got, some of you are getting that? Oh, no. Are you able to still see my screen now? Okay, as long as you can still see my screen, I can go ahead and demo this for you. So you can add your different images and so forth to your different quiz questions. And then once you're done, you go in and you can choose the correct answer. And it's really quite simple to follow through with this. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that in case we're having issues. And, you know, you can go in and you can add different types of questions, like an audio question and so forth. So do you know how you had the spelling test inside of here? Am I in the right one? Yeah, Course Sampler. There should be a spelling test that you had. Unless this one didn't have the spelling. This one may not have had the spelling test. There it is. So this is a fill in the blank with audio. So in this one, they added an audio file to the question. So those are all of your options that you have inside that assessment piece. And I just kind of wanted to just give you a general overview on that assessment and how that works. Okay. So any questions? I know some of you are having issues logging in right now, or you're getting kicked out of Schoology. There's not a whole lot we can do right now, except just keep trying to get back in here in just a moment. Have a little hiccup. All right, so let's go ahead and take it back to the parking lot and let's answer a few more questions. And then that'll give me time to show you pages. I'll have time, still have time to show you pages. So let's go ahead and take it back to that parking lot and answer those questions. So I'm happy to go there. Oh, wow, got some good questions coming in. Job security, yay. All right, let's see what we got in these questions. Oh, Schoology, hang on with me, come on. And you know, Google's crashing, Zoom is crashing, Cisco WebEx is crashing. All right, can you upload an already created test and import it into the assessment? Right now, that's not a possibility. You're going to have to copy and paste. So not at this time. It's coming, it's just not there yet. So I know that's kind of a hassle, but soon is what I can tell you there. If the district creates common assessments, can they be placed as in a resource for teachers to draw on and place in their course? Absolutely, that can happen. So your district, and I'm going to go ahead and talk to you about this really quickly. Your district can create, or even you yourself can create groups. And inside those groups, we can share information out with one another. And it looks like I may be experiencing that hiccup as well. But inside a group, you can share information out. Now let me go over here to my, maybe I'm in here as Angela Lawyer. Let me go in as Angie Bakke. So inside this group, this is from Cedar Hill, Texas. Anybody know where Cedar Hill is? It's right in between Dallas, Fort Worth, Midlothian area. Well, they have this resource here for their students, for their teachers. And you can easily add resources to the group. And you can go in, and if you have assessments or anything else in a group that you're a member of, you can actually go in and from that group, click on that gear icon and add any information to your home resources, that personal filing cabinet of yours. Or you can even go in and add it to a course. So depending on what's inside and what's shared, you can go in and add it to a course or copy it to your own set of resources. So if I take this assessment that's right here, that's in our TEA course, and I've created this assessment, I can take that assessment and I can copy it to our course. I can save it to our resources. And if we have a group, like I've got a Bakke school group, I can save that to that Bakke school group. And then those people that are a member of my group will have that assessment and be able to then apply it to any of their courses that they have available. So that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that because that's really a good one. So I got a chance to demo that. And let's see here. In the assessment, is there a griddable option to do a grid? I think so. Let me go back and look at that real quick. Let me look at my question types. I'm just going to go ahead and open that assessment real quick. It's a little easier for me to look at that. So you're talking about like where you do a grid and you fill in the, like like fill in the different parts of the grid to create numbers or something like that?
Actually, Angie, it was me, and it's the gridables on the STAR test.
Okay, so like the griddles on the star. Let's look and see what we've got. Let's go in here. I don't think so. Surely you do. Hang on a second. I mean, you can add it. Well, you can really do it as an image. Let's see what we've got over here on the side. Don't see that we've got a griddable option. We've just got our multiple choice, and these are the options here. You've got a chart. I've got a number line, but I don't see the option for griddable right now. No, I'll have to say no on that. So no, but again, it's being revamped. The assessment piece is being revised. Of course, COVID kind of threw everybody a little bit behind on that piece. But COVID, nonetheless, with COVID, we're behind a little bit on that, but it's coming. So you will have quite a few more options inside of Schoology assessments coming soon. But so we don't have that. And this is a great question from Milana. If changes are made in the resource file, it's not going to make changes to those that have been copied over because you have made a copy of it. You've made a new one and a mirror image. So, in Google, you can change things and it automatically filters in. But inside here, since you're making a copy, that's not going to come over because you've made a copy of it. Okay. All right, for the sections, when you're talking about sections, Susan, are you talking about how, let's say that you teach Algebra 1 and you teach Algebra 1 first period, third period, and sixth period. Those would be your sections, and so those are like your class periods. So you can actually link your course sections together. And so you've got a one-stop shop for everybody, and then you've got the class sections there. So you can link your class sections together. That's what the class sections there. There is, depending on what your school has purchased, a video conference meeting feature. It's called conferences. It's called the Big Blue Button. And if your school has purchased that option, you will have that conferences option here. So if you don't see those conferences, then you do not have that option. Okay. Great. So we are just about out of time right now. Are there any other questions? How are you feeling as far as everything? You feeling okay? You feel good about this? Do you feel like you have bare bones basics down? Did you get your intro course going? And you can relay this information out to everybody else. Okay. So any other questions I can answer for you out there? Okay. Well, if there are no further questions, we will wrap it on up. I wish all of you a great start to your school year, whether you're remote, whether you are blended, face-to-face, or whatever your situation is, it'll all work out. I'm so glad that you have become a part of the Schoology family. And again, take it one step at a time. You don't have to do everything all at once. Folders, discussions, assignments, and then you can take it from there. All right. So thanks, everybody. I'll go ahead and end our meeting now. And feel free to keep checking this course. It's going to be there and available for you at any time. And if you start getting notifications about things in our course, remember to go here and cut those notifications off. Okay, thanks so much, and we'll see you maybe around in Texas sometime. Bye, everybody.